Okay, welcome back to the YouTube channel and podcast of Wheel of Data. This evening we put a look at an article from IBM where they talk about a methodology. They propose a methodology for data science. So, which are the steps that you have to follow to face the right way, to approach the right way a challenge of data analytics, predictions, data science in general. Here is the diagram. You see that. Here is you see it in if you are watching the video. You don't see it on the podcast, but you can arrive here. Just type in IBM data science methodology on Google, and you will get several pages for the truth where the methodology is described in more or less detail. So the first step that they describe is the business understanding. So you have to understand which are the actual needs of the customer, of the stakeholder, and you have to formulate the problem in a manner that could be faced using the tools and techniques of the data science. Second step is the analytic approach. You have to decide which is the tool or the set of tools of data science that are the most suitable for achieving the objective that you have defined in the business understanding step. Based on the definition of the problem and on the identification of tools and techniques to be used are data requirements. So which data I need under the semantic point of view, but also under the syntactic point of view, the format of data, and so on. So which data I need, data requirements I have to identify. Data collection. Once that I know which data I need, I have to collect it, and I will use tools such as ETLs, such as web crawling, and so on, to collect the data that I need. The next step is data understanding. Data understanding means that you put a look at the data that you have collected and you assess their quality, and you start understanding something about the problem and about what the result could be. You have a first intuition about at least a part of the answer that you will give or that you could give to your customer or to the stakeholder, and so on. You also see that in the graph proposed by IBM, there are a lot of arrows that go back because it is thought as an iterative process. You will also note that the process never ends because the last step is the feedback, but it is not the last step actually, because an arrow goes out from it and goes back to the modeling, because using the feedback from the stakeholders and users, you can improve the model. And so it is a process that is an endless process for the truth. But Coming back to the data understanding, we have said about the data understanding. The next step is data preparation. Data preparation is where you make your hands dirty and you actually do all the processing that is needed for that the data could actually be sent in input to tools that you will use to implement the approach that you have defined in the second step. Going forward, you have the modeling step. That is where you implement the approach that you have defined using the data that you have retrieved, collected, prepared. After the modeling, you have the evaluation. You have to assess the results that you have obtained, and you have to understand if they are reasonable, if they are meaningful to the stakeholder, if they make sense in the real world. And for understanding this, you also need some knowledge of the context of this data and some knowledge of the context, operating context, let me say, of the stakeholder, of the customer that has asked you to discover something and to exploit at best his data. So going on, you have the deployment. It is when you go to the stakeholder and say, well, I have discovered this. Based on the data that I have collected, I have discovered this, and you will say what about the questions that you have made me in the origin, the deployment. Last step, the feedback. Once you have deployed the model, the stakeholders and the users will be able to use it and will tell you if it actually works or not. Will tell you if the prediction that you have made is found to be correct or not. And you will use, we have said, this feedback for improving iteratively your modeling, and you will then repeat the steps of evaluation and deployment. But you could also discover that once you have improved the model, you need some more data that you had not collected before, also because it was not available before maybe, and it is now available. And so you can even go back from the modeling to data preparation, data collection, and so on. Okay, we have put a look at this article from IBM where an overview is given about the overall process of facing a problem, implementing a solution, deploying the solution, collecting feedbacks in challenges related to exploitation of data. So thank you for your attention, and see you to the next video and podcast. Don't forget that all of you is warmly invited to get involved. So this platform is not thought so that I only make articles, write articles and make videos. It is thought for that everyone interested could do the same, could make his videos, could record his podcast, could send his articles. So put a look at the website of the initiative, so www.welovedata.today to discover how you can apply for an author account and how you can get involved in the thing. Okay, see you then next time.